All right, you guys, thanks so much for hopping on. So tonight is a little different. We are doing what I'm calling a why workshop. So this is interactive. It is meant to help you guys with your business because it really comes down to understanding your why, like why you want to do Plexus. And if you don't have that, it's really hard to show up and be consistent and do all the things. Because this is really like the base, like this is where everything else comes from. And it's something that I know I pushed off for a long time. Like I didn't want to write down my why. I was like, yeah, I'll get to that, I'll get to that. Eventually I did, and it brought a lot of clarity to like why I was doing what I was doing, helped me show up every day. But then also your why changes. So some of you have been doing this for 2 or 3 years, and it might have been a while since you like revisited this and thought through it again. So we are going to spend about 5 minutes. I'm going to show you guys a video. It's a Simon Sinek video. He did a TED talk on how great leaders inspire action. And it is all based on this idea of your why. So let me flip this around. We're going to start with this. And then we're going to have some conversation around it and actually work through writing like your why. I'm going to give you guys some like leading, guiding questions to help you figure this out. So, all right, my technology here. All right, so this is Simon Sinek. I'm going to play it. It's about 5 minutes long.
How do you explain when things don't go as we assume? Or better, how do you explain when others are able to achieve things that seem to defy all of the assumptions? For example, why is Apple so innovative? Year after year after year after year, they're more innovative than all their competition. And yet they're just a computer company. They're just like everyone else. They have the same access to the same talent, the same agencies, the same consultants, the same media. Then why is it that they seem to have something different? Why is it that Martin Luther King led the civil rights movement? He wasn't the only man who suffered in a pre-civil rights America, and he certainly wasn't the only great orator of the day. Why him? And why is it that the Wright brothers were able to figure out control-powered manned flight when there were certainly other teams who were better qualified, better funded, and they didn't achieve powered manned flight, and the Wright brothers beat them to it? There's something else at play here. About 3.5 years ago, I made a discovery, and this discovery profoundly changed my view on how I thought the world worked, and it even profoundly changed the way in which I operate in it. As it turns out, there's a pattern. As it turns out, all the great and inspiring leaders and organizations in the world, whether it's Apple or Martin Luther King or the Wright brothers, they all think, act, and communicate the exact same way, and it's the complete opposite to everyone else. All I did was codify it. And it's probably the world's simplest idea. I call it the golden circle. Why, how, what? This little idea explains why some organizations and some leaders are able to inspire where others aren't. Let me define the terms really quickly. Every single person, every single organization on the planet knows what they do 100%. Some know how they do it, whether you call it your differentiating value proposition or your proprietary process or your USP. But very, very few people or organizations know why they do what they do. And by why, I don't mean to make a profit. That's a result. It's always a result. By why, I mean, what's your purpose? What's your cause? What's your belief? Why does your organization exist? Why do you get out of bed in the morning? And why should anyone care? Well, as a result, the way we think, the way we act, the way we communicate is from the outside in. It's obvious. We go from the clearest thing to the fuzziest thing. But the inspired leaders and the inspired organizations, regardless of their size, regardless of their industry, all think, act, and communicate from the inside out. Let me give you an example. I use Apple because they're easy to understand and everybody gets it. If Apple were like everyone else, a marketing message from them might sound like this. We make great computers. They're beautifully designed, simple to use, and user-friendly. Want to buy one? Meh. And that's how most of us communicate. That's how most marketing is done. That's how most sales is done. And that's how most of us communicate interpersonally. We say what we do. We say how we're different or how we're better. And we expect some sort of behavior, a purchase, a vote, something like that. Here's our new law firm. We have the best lawyers with the biggest clients. We have, we always perform for our clients, do business with us. Here's our new car. It gets great gas mileage. It has, leather seats. Buy our car. But it's uninspiring. Here's how Apple actually communicates. Everything we do, we believe in challenging the status quo. We believe in thinking differently. The way we challenge the status quo is by making our products beautifully designed, simple to use, and user-friendly. We just happen to make great computers. Want to buy one? Totally different, right? You're ready to buy a computer from me. All I did was reverse the order of the information. What it proves to us is that people don't buy what you do, people buy why you do it. People don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. This explains why every single person in this room is perfectly comfortable buying a computer from Apple. But we're also perfectly comfortable buying an MP3 player from Apple, or a phone from Apple, or a DVR from Apple. But as I said before, Apple's just a computer company. There's nothing that distinguishes them structurally from any of their competitors. Their competitors are all equally qualified to make all of these products. In fact, they tried. A few years ago, Gateway came out with flat screen TVs. They're eminently qualified to make flat screen TVs. They've been making flat screen monitors for years. Nobody bought one. And Dell came out with MP3 players and PDAs. And they make great quality products, and they can make perfectly well-designed products, and nobody bought one. In fact, talking about it now, we can't even imagine buying an MP3 player from Dell. Why would you buy an MP3 player from a computer company? But we do it every day. People don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. The goal is not to do business with everybody who needs what you have. The goal is to do business with people who believe what you believe.
Okay. Thanks for bearing with that. I know it's like awkward to look at a screen within a screen, but that is so good. And if you guys want to watch the whole thing, just Google Simon Sinek, S-I-N-E-K, and just the word why, because this video goes on and on. So the reason we are focusing on this tonight, and the reason that I showed you that little clip, is because I think we all know the what and the how. So the three circles was like the why in the center, the how, and the what. The what is the products that we have, right? The how is where we get caught up, like, give me all the methods, give me all the scripts and, all the things to say. And that's all good. And obviously our products are awesome. And the way that we share and our Plexus Engage app and all that is super important. Like the how is important. But if you don't have the why, none of it really matters, because like he said, people don't buy what you have. They buy into like who you are, what you're doing, like if they're behind the reason why you're doing it. So it's really important to iron this out. And when it comes to running our business, most of us are self-taught, right? Like this, we're kind of all figuring it out as we go. There's different resources that we have for finding the how, like how am I going to share? But at the end of the day, we're all self-taught. So I just bought this guitar book, okay? Guitar book for adult beginners. I've been playing guitar for 16 years. I play guitar every Sunday in church. Up front, I know how to play guitar. But the thing is, 16 years ago, I taught myself how to play guitar. So the truth is, I kind of have no idea what I'm doing. I only know like how to play chords. So I took a little humble pill and bought on Amazon a guitar book for adult beginners because I want to go back and learn the right way to do it. And this reminded me of like revisiting my why, like getting back to why we're doing what we're doing, why is it important? And your why is going to be constantly evolving and changing. So for how many of you, like this is your first time thinking about this, first time writing down your why? Anybody? Okay. And how many of you, like, it's been a while, it's been a minute since you wrote this down? Because for me, that's the case. Like it had been a while. So we're going to work through this. We're all going to commit to writing down our why. So it's a simple question. Why do I want to do Plexus? Like, why am I here on this call? Why do I want to work this as a business? What are my big dreams and goals and things that I want to get out of this? So I'm going to lead you through some guiding questions. You're going to need that pen and paper because we're going to be writing things down. So we're going to work through your personal why. I think it's super helpful to think through Plexus as a business as well. And like I did write down, and I'll share with you at the end, like why Plexus, not just my personal why, but like why should people want to join our company, want to buy products from our company? Because that's what Simon was talking about with Apple. Like, why do people love Apple, or why do people love Disney? Because of the experience and the connection, right? So I want you to think about that also. But for now, we are going to talk about your personal why. Because if you are on this call tonight, you have goals for your business. You're not just taking time out of your Tuesday night to come see everyone's face. Like, you have goals, and the why is going to help you stay laser focused to reach those goals. Now, I've heard one of the diamonds who shared all the videos in December, she said your why has to be bulletproof. And what that means is this is the thing that you're going to come back to when you are discouraged. It's the thing you're going to come back to when someone is nasty to you, or comments on your post, or messages you and says, how dare you talk to me about Plexus? Your why is what keeps you grounded. It's also what gets you out of bed in the morning when you don't feel like waking up early to do your Plexus work, or what makes you show up for the training. You always come back to your why. It's something that you can go back to every single day. Okay. So we are going to work through this. Grab your paper. I'm going to lead you through some guiding questions, and this is going to give you kind of a skeleton outline that you're going to go back to, and you're going to be able to flesh out and make this into your why. So your why could be a paragraph, a couple sentences. It's just going to be whatever you want it to be. There's no like specific rules for it. Okay, so are we ready? Thumbs up. Look alive, people. All right, let's go. Awesome. Thank you. All right, so take your pen and paper. Obviously, Plexus is a business. The goal is to provide you income, right? Like, that's why we work. Okay, so I want you to write down, how much money would you like to make with Plexus monthly? What would be a level of, income per month that you're like, that would be super helpful. That's my goal. That's what I want to make. Write that down. And I actually wrote these down earlier, so let me pull up mine. $1 per month. And it's not all about the money. We are in the business to change lives, but the money is helpful, especially if you have financial goals. There's nothing wrong with talking about it. Okay, does everyone have that number? Okay. And yes, it does lead to a why. Okay, so you have your number. Now I want you to double it. Whatever you wrote, I want you to double it and write that number next to it. Okay, is anyone looking at that number and saying that's not possible? Yeah, okay, right? I know. Okay, bear with me. Okay, thinking through that number you wrote down, the bigger amount, I want you to know it is actually possible. Even though you can't quite see it yet, it is actually possible. There are people doing it, people just like you, people like me. Now, here's what we're gonna do. I want you to make a list of 10, 1 through 10. I want you to write down, if you had that amount of money coming in with Plexus, how would you spend that money or save that money? Like, what would you do with that? This was super hard for me, guys. It was super hard for me, but I want to take a couple minutes here. I want you to try to come up with 10 ways that you would use that money. Maybe I'll just start writing, but I'll just give you some things that I wrote down that might like kind of get your brain going. Pay down a mortgage, pay down student debt, fund money to be spontaneous, sponsor 1 adoption per month. That's one thing I wrote down. Like, how crazy awesome would that be? Enjoy our Pocono hobbies, ski, hike, boat, whatever. Okay, whatever it is, I want you to take a few minutes and write it down. Try to come up with 10. I'm going to give you a couple minutes. Okay, I'm gonna give you guys 2 more minutes. I know it can be hard. Okay, I know your list might not be done. That's okay, you can come back to it. Does anyone want to share some of the things that made their list? Just unmute yourself if you do.
I want to be like paying off all the stuff that I have, like these car payments, like so that I have none, my credit cards, like this insane amount of debt that we've been stuck with for years that I feel like we're just on a wheel, just continuously like building it. The moment we can pay some of it off, we got to put something else back on it. So I just want to be financially free. That's like the main thing for me. So like each of my 10 things kind of broke down parts of that. So.
Yeah, I love it. That's great, Leslie. Thanks for sharing. And if you guys follow Megan Malakovic, who's our diamond upline, she literally, that was her why, to pay down student loan debt. And they paid off $100,000 in 15 months. So, I mean, it takes some hustle, but she's proof that it can be done. It can be done. And yeah, she said it's like a weight lifted, like being debt free. Let me see what Kim Tanner said here. Praying for my daughter to go to school in the school district where you work, right? It's expensive. Save for your first house, pay off credit cards, financial freedom. Yes, also good. Anyone else want to share before we move on to the next thing?
I was just going to say, Megan has inspired me to like not just pay my monthly car payment, but actually put like a huge chunk of money towards my car every month and pay it off way sooner than just like in the time frame that they give you for a loan. So I'm excited about that one.
Awesome. Thank you. A huge part of my why when I first started was to be able to stay home with my kids. So maybe that is like a goal that some people have, or like maybe eventually when you have kids, that could be a goal. But sometimes it's like an actual thing you want to buy or purchase or pay down. Sometimes it's the freedom that the income would allow your lifestyle, right? That can be a big part of it. Okay, so if you didn't finish that, make sure you go back and find 10, but you can work through it. The next thing I want to do is try to write down 10 ways that Plexus blesses us and blesses others that are not financial. Okay, so 10 things that people get from Plexus, you and others, that are not related to money. If you find that these are coming easier for you, it's just because we have a hard time thinking and talking about money. Like, yeah, it's sometimes this kind of stuff is easier because we're all about the support, the connection, the helping people. I know like all of you have huge hearts, and sometimes money is like, oh, I don't want to talk about money. But anyway, keep writing, try to get 10. Yeah, Stephanie. Yep, I'm the same way. Okay, just going to give this one more minute. And again, you can go back and revisit if you need to. All right, I'd love to hear some of the things you wrote down. How does Plexus bless us and others That has nothing to do with money. Someone unmute and tell me what you wrote.
I put love, friendship, encouragement, prizes, trips, camaraderie, connection, blessings with health, and helping others feel better.
Yeah,
Like that came
awesome.
so.
Those are all great. Yep, I have many similar things on my list. Anyone else have something different?
I put personal growth and spiritual growth
Mm,
because we're always talking about personal growth, and that is like super hard. Like I was thinking back the other day to when I was in the classroom, and yeah, it had its own challenges, but like mentally, I mean, you show up, you do your job. I mean, okay, it was probably harder in the moment than I thought, but like, you know what I'm saying? When you're constantly trying to grow and grow and grow and grow, and then like there's people in your life that like aren't doing that personal development, like it can get very complicated, but in an awesome way. So I like the personal growth, and I feel like our team is, you know, there's so many people that are spiritual, and I just feel like it's really helped me grow in that area too.
right. Yeah. Yes, I love that. There's like spiritual growth, mindset training, leadership development. Like I was a manager in a hospital for many years, and I didn't have as good leadership training as I've had with Plexus. It's crazy. Okay, there's like dogs barking and kids walking around. I'm so sorry. Okay, love it, guys. Okay, so you have your list of 10 ways the business, the money, the financial aspect would bless your family, right? Like these are life-changing things. You have 10 reasons why Plexus is amazing, not only financially, but for your friends and family. Like look at this list. Like who wouldn't want to be in a community that offers these things? Connection, friendship, leadership development, confident, health, new skills, right? Like what we have to offer is something really, really amazing. And what's amazing is that when we bring people in to this journey and they're super blessed with all these things, you also grow financially. You also build your business. Like these work hand in hand. So looking at this list, this is your why. This, I mean, you can put it together into a sentence, into a paragraph, but this is the driving factor, the motivation, like why you want to do this business. It's so that you can bring people in to be blessed on this journey with you. It's so that you can reach these personal goals that you have. So all you need to do is take a look at this list, put it into some kind of a phrase, a sentence, something that you can read every single morning or every single night, whatever, something you can go back to every day and say, this is my why. And because of this rock solid, bulletproof why that's at the center of what I'm doing, I'm going to figure out the how. And I know the what, right? The what is our products. And didn't it make sense when he said, you'll like from Apple, you'll buy a computer, an MP3 player, an Apple TV, like anything, because you're so like in love with the why of what they do. Guys, doesn't it make sense that Plexus has kids' health products, nutrition, gut health, skincare? It has all the things because it's all coming back to the why of what Plexus is all about. So your why needs to be bulletproof. It needs to be compelling, because I don't want to wake up every day if my why is, well, I want to see where this goes. Maybe I'll go silver, maybe not. I don't know. That's, you know, when some people say they want to do the business, like that's their why, like, oh, I just want to see. That's not going to get you out of bed, right? It needs to be compelling. You know, if your why is, if someone's interested, then I'll tell them about Plexus. That's not compelling. Or I'll maybe post occasionally and see if that's enough. That's not compelling. That's not going to get you out of bed. It has to be strong enough to make you do hard things, and it has to have a pain point. This is something that no one really talks about when they're talking about a why, but the pain point is this. You need to think, what happens if I don't do the things? What happens if I don't do the how, right? The IPA, the reaching out to people, the posting, if I don't do this. And for me, my pain point is that if I don't maintain a full-time income with Plexus, I have to go back to work, no longer homeschool my kids, right? That's my pain point. And to me, that pain point, knowing that that's there, that's going to keep me going as well. So you might want to start with something smaller. Like, you know, part of my why is I want to go on, you know, a trip with my husband or with my friends by the summer. Like the pain point would be that if I don't reach my goal, then that doesn't happen. It doesn't have to be like something huge, but having that pain point is part of the thing that like keeps you going, that keeps you compelled to do the work. When the why is super solid, the what and the how are flexible, right? The products, we might have new products coming in and going, that's fine. The what can change, the how can change. You might do IPA a little different than I do IPA. We might post a little different on social media. That's totally fine. It's the why that's solid. Okay, so I want to share with you my why. And if anyone has theirs written down and wants to share, I think it's super helpful to hear from other people. Like, what is your actual why? What did you write down? So I wrote down 2 different whys. When I was listening to Simon and thinking about my why for the business, I was like, okay, why Plexus? Like, how is Plexus different? What's the why for Plexus? So I wrote that down. And then I updated my personal why because it has evolved and changed. My pain point is bigger now. You know, before I was working, so it had nothing to do with staying home. Now, if I drop the ball, if I go on management mode and check out and just sit here, I'm going to have to go back to work. But I want to read these to you. They may not really make sense to you because everyone's why is super, super personal. But it might just like spark something or be helpful as you're thinking about writing yours. So I have mine kind of in paragraph format. So here's my business why. Why Plexus? Why should people go with Plexus instead of Thrive, instead of Beachbody, instead of, you know, whatever else they want to do? So here's what I wrote. Living healthy is hard. Plexus is the gateway to make lifestyle change easier. We provide a wellness community that supports you in every aspect of your health journey and gives you the tools you need to make the change last. Wellness community is who we are. Supplements is what we do. That's what I wrote down. So for me, when I am thinking about why someone should choose Plexus over the next thing, that's what I want to come back and read and remind myself of. It's about our wellness community. Yes, I can type these up and share them in the chat for sure. It's not just about supplements. The supplements are amazing. We love the supplements, but it's about the wellness community. It's about Plexus being the linchpin, or let's find out the right word, the thing, like the catalyst for change. Can I make a commercial? It's the catalyst. It's what gets people in the door to start thinking about ways to completely improve their health, right? We want them to eat right. We want them to exercise. We want them to take care of their mental health and their spiritual health. Plexus is the catalyst. It gets the thing going. Okay, that's my business why. I would encourage you to think about it so that when people are saying, well, why should I do Plexus instead of something else? Boom, you come back to that. Here's my personal why. This is going to be completely different for every person, but I want to share mine with you. And I just rewrote this last night because I think on it for a long time. Okay, I work my Plexus business because it gives me the freedom to fully enjoy the life God has blessed me with. Working Plexus allows me to homeschool my children, giving me invaluable time in these influential years, and have the financial flexibility to bless my family, give to others, and plan for big things for the future. My business also alleviates stress for my husband. Some of you can relate, as we have greater financial flexibility and time freedom. I continue to grow my business, not just maintain, because I believe in the unique giftings of others, you guys. I believe that God has brought people onto this team that are going to change lives, their own lives and the lives of others. I continue to grow, to build belief in this team that anything is possible and anyone can do this. This means showing up daily, doing the same things I ask my team to do, continuously expanding my comfort zone and shining light on the hidden potential in each person. And here's my pain point. If I quit, I will have to go back to a 9-to-5 job and send my kids to public school. I would likely be underappreciated for my giftings. I would have to work very hard and very long to ever see a pay increase, and the amount of lives I would impact would be greatly reduced. Most of all, I would miss out on the best memories of my life, time with my husband and kids, and time freedom to serve and bless others. I'm really long-winded, and I normally wouldn't read all that to you, but I felt like, okay, like your why should like almost bring you to tears. Like it should at least like get you a little welled up. And rewriting this really did for me. And it really grounded me and got me excited to show up, because you're not always going to feel like doing it, right? There's times when it's a real drag where someone really brings you down. But when you come back to this, like for me, this is more important than a nasty comment. This is more important than I'm really tired, or I don't feel like doing a coaching call, or, I'd rather, chill and watch Netflix than do the thing tonight. This is what keeps you grounded. So I know you guys can't like whip this out on a team call and like write down your perfect why. This is like a launch for you. You have your list, you have things to think about. Now you can sit down, mom, and work through your why. It's going to be different. It's not going to be my why. It has to be personal to you, but it has to be really strong, bulletproof, compelling. It has to have a pain point. And guys, it will literally change the way you show up in your business. You're going to show up completely differently, because instead of being all obsessed about the what and the how, you're going to be like, I'm going to figure it out because I've got this why, and it's solid. So I'm going to leave you guys with that. Are there any questions before we hop off, or any comments, or, if anyone has a why that they want to share, that would be awesome too.
Can I ask, okay, Britt, can you touch on, so you said like, this is the what and the why, right? And like, it's good to set goals, and have a timeline for those goals. However, knowing that we also need to be flexible with the when, because there's an element of trusting the process and also not falling into comparison of like, okay, I see your chapter 12 versus I'm at chapter 1. And what if my goal isn't diamond or whatever? Like, that's okay. Can you kind of speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. So, right, there's then this other question of when. Like, first of all, what is your goal? Do you just want to get your products paid for? Do you want to create a movement like where you're, it's all about the people, how many people you can bring along with you? Or do you want to be diamond? Like, is it about an income level? So you have a goal, make it clear, and set a time frame to it. Because that is motivating, right? Like, you see the calendar pages flipping, you can break it down into smaller pieces. Like, if you want to be gold by June, okay, well then that's 100 points. I better have 50 points by March. I better have 25, like, you can break it down. But if you don't reach the goal in the time frame that you set, adjust the time frame, but not the goal. Right? Like, don't say, well, I'm not going to be gold ever. No, like, you just have to adjust the time frame, because everyone has a different schedule, a different, ability to do the work. Some of you can work 15 minutes a day. Some of you can work 2 hours a day. That's going to make a difference in the time frame that things happen. So adjust the time frame, not the goal. And be fine with whatever your personal goal is, but just be open to it expanding, right? There is nothing wrong with saying like, I don't want to be diamond, but gold, that sounds good. Like that couple, $500 a month or whatever, that would really make a huge difference to me. That's awesome. Like, we are here for that. Like, we will support you to your goal of gold. But at some point it switches to being just about your personal goals and thinking about like your team and like, who else do you want to bring up with you? Like, that's kind of been the pivot for me lately, is like, I wanted to be emerald. Like, okay, so like, now what? Like, should I stop? No, like, I want other people to be emerald. I want to bring people along with me. So set a time frame, adjust the time frame, not the goal, if you don't reach it in time. And then just keep an open mind to expand, and don't let fear be the reason why you set like an achievable or an easy goal. Just be honest with yourself. Like, okay, is this because I am afraid to put something bigger out there because I'm afraid I might miss it? Just when you're goal setting, it's going to constantly be evolving and changing, because we are growing. We're all growing. Any other questions, or anyone have a why that they want to share? And I'm sorry if I was overwhelming with mine. I know it was super long. Yours does not need to be that long. Anybody else?
I just want to say that, I mean, I don't even know how to say my why after you saying yours, because it was that good. Like, oh my God, girl, you just like blew me out of the water. But thank you for putting this call together. It was amazing. I loved it. And I did my why, I don't know, maybe at the beginning of the month. And I'm like, okay, I need to work on this a little more. But, I mean, okay, so some of the things that I had on it. Go ahead.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. And I just want you guys to know, when I started, like, I'm 3 years in, right? So like, there's been a lot of like head trash to work through. My why started off as, I can't afford these products, but I really want to take them, so I better get them paid for. That was it. And that was enough to get me silver, man. Like, I really wanted those products paid for. And then I was like, you know what, if I had an extra couple $100 a month, it could really like free up some stuff. Like the kids could take swim lessons, like I could go out for coffee and not be like, oh, I don't want to spend the money, so that was phase 2 of my why. Phase 3 was, man, what if I could quit my job? Oh no, that could never happen. Like that was hard for me to like even like put out there, but that was the next phase. And now it's expanded to be about other people. So I even hesitated to read that to you because I don't want you to be like, whoa, look at you with your big why. It's been like a work in progress. It's been definitely evolving. So if your why feels small right now, that's okay. As long as it's honest, it's compelling, it has a pain point. Yeah, but thanks so much, Shannon. That's really sweet of you. And I want to hear your why. I'm sure it's awesome.
All right. Like I said, it's nothing like yours, so just bear with me here.
Oh yeah.
So I have 7 things, and don't mind my puppy in the background being crazy. To be debt-free and not have to ever worry about money limiting my life or decisions. To be a stay-at-home mom with my future babies and homeschool them if need be. To buy a camper and travel to new places with my family. To pay off my car in half the time. To earn $3,000 a month with Plexus. To put 10% of my pay for a vacation fund to travel more, because we don't do that right now. It just never seems to happen. And to inspire my team to believe in themselves and be successful in this business.
I love it, Shan. I love it. I think your why is fabulous. I like that you listed it, right? Like I'm super wordy, so I'm paragraph style, but you're like boom, 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 boom. Here's the things, but it's really tangible. Like those things are all like, you can break them down. You can see them. I love it. Thank you so much for sharing. Okay, Victoria, you were going to say something, I think.
It was just real
Okay.
quick. I
Yeah.
mean, it's one of the things that I do too, when I am checking in with people and they are having so much success, I screenshot that and I save it because that is part of my why. Like I love being able to help people have the wealth of health. And so like if I'm having a hard day or people are telling me no, or they're ignoring me, or they are having detox symptoms and want to quit after day 2, like then I go back to those messages and like people that are like, I have tried every other thing in this earth and nothing has worked and this is working, like that fuels me too. So like just another tool to kind of put in there. I love doing that.
Yes, I do the same thing because then if you have a list, yeah, I will say good night. Yeah. Good night. I use an app called Evernote to save notes and pictures and stuff. I highly recommend you guys download it. It's free. And you can search by keyword. So like triplex video, whatever. But I save those screenshots because when you're having like a bummed out kind of day, you can go back and be like, man, look, Plexus blesses people's lives. Like this person, freedom from back pain, like all the things. It's just good when you get positive feedback to save it because that's exactly right, Victoria. You can go back and it will remind you part of the reason why we do this. So that's awesome. Okay, I'm going to stop the recording. Thank you guys so much for coming tonight.